The untold story of Charles DeRudio, his survival of Custer's Battle of Little Bighorn. Greetings, enthusiasts of history, and welcome to White History and Native Roots. If you are intrigued by the monumental conflicts that have shaped America, please like this video and subscribe to accompany us on our exploration of the past. Today we delve into the tumultuous events of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, famously referred to as Custer's Last Stand. This narrative extends beyond the defeat of George Armstrong Custer. It encompasses the remarkable journey of Charles DeRudio, an Italian nobleman who became a soldier and defied death against all odds. His thrilling experience unveils a battle that significantly altered the course of history. Prepare yourself, as this account is filled with unexpected developments. Picture the scene on June 25, 1876, amidst the sun-baked plains of Montana. The 7th Cavalry, led by Lieutenant Colonel George Custer, is advancing rapidly towards a vast Native American settlement along the Little Bighorn River. This was not merely a small encampment, it was a substantial assembly of Lakota Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho, united under the leadership of figures such as Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse. With numbers in the thousands, they were prepared to defend their territory and their lives. Custer, a man propelled by ambition, made decisions that day that continue to incite fervent discussions. Let us begin with Charles DeRudio, a character reminiscent of an adventure tale. Born in 1832 in Belluno, Italy, as Carlo Camillo DeRudio, he was raised in a noble household, the offspring of a count. In his youth, he attended an Austrian military academy, but in 1848, he joined Italian revolutionaries in their quest for independence. At the age of 15, he fought against Austrian forces in Rome, demonstrating remarkable bravery. By 1858, he found himself in London, embroiled in a bold scheme to assassinate Napoleon III, who had dashed Italian aspirations. DeRudio threw a bomb during the attack, resulting in over 100 casualties. Condemned to death, he narrowly avoided execution, escaped from a French penal colony, and ultimately made his way to America. During the Civil War, he served the Union with the 79th New York Infantry and the 2nd U.S. Colored Infantry. In 1869, DeRudio became a second lieutenant in the 7th Cavalry, though he was not well liked by all. Custer referred to him as a natural schemer, hindering his advancement, while Captain Frederick Benteen mockingly dubbed him Italian Count No Account due to his grandiose stories and aristocratic demeanor. Despite other officers ridiculing his diminished noble title, DeRudio gained respect on the frontier. He successfully repelled Sioux assaults, dismantled a Ku Klux Klan faction, and apprehended a Louisiana planter who was suppressing black voters. By 1875, he had risen to the rank of first lieutenant in Company A, serving under Major Marcus Reno. This position would ultimately be pivotal for him. Now let us consider George Custer, a name that resonates throughout history. Born in Ohio in 1839, Custer had already become a Civil War icon by his early 20s. At the age of 23, he held the rank of brigadier general, boldly charging into Confederate lines. He was present at Appomattox during the South's surrender, reveling in his fame. However, Custer had an insatiable desire for attention, perhaps excessively so. He would pose dramatically for photographers, his long blonde hair cascading like that of a frontier hero. Yet, controversy followed him. In 1867, he was court-martialed for leaving his post to visit his wife Libby, and for executing deserters without trial. After a year-long suspension, he fought to regain his standing, eager for atonement. Custer's notoriety as an Indian fighter escalated following the 1868 Battle of the Wachita River, where he led an assault on a Cheyenne village, resulting in numerous deaths, including those of women and children. To settlers, he was a guardian. To Native Americans, he was a ruthless adversary, a violator of treaties. By 1876, the U.S. government was forcibly relocating tribes to reservations, but leaders such as Sitting Bull stood in defiance. Custer's 7th Cavalry received orders to gather the Native American forces. Anticipating a confrontation with 800 warriors, he was instead confronted by a formidable force of over 2,500, which proved insurmountable. On that pivotal day in 1876, the 7th Cavalry, consisting of approximately 700 soldiers, approached the Little Bighorn village. Scouts indicated that the camp was situated 15 miles away, with warriors appearing to retreat. Custer perceived an opportunity for triumph and decided to split his forces. Benteen was assigned to lead companies H, D, and K on the left flank, while Reno commanded companies M, G, and A, including DeRudio in the center. Custer himself directed companies E, I, F, L, and C on the right, with Company B tasked with protecting the supply train. This strategy was fraught with risk, particularly as Custer disregarded the warnings from his Crow Scouts regarding the actual size of the village. He allegedly exclaimed, "Boys, we've caught them napping." However, DeRudio, part of Reno's contingent, sensed impending danger. They advanced 6 or 7 miles to the Little Bighorn River, crossed it, and emerged onto the open plains. Orders were given to charge, and they surged forward through a blinding cloud of dust, kicked up by the retreating warriors. The dust obscured their vision, prompting Reno to halt and establish a skirmish line along a dry creek bed, sending horses to the woods for safety. Suddenly, a deafening roar erupted as hundreds of Lakota and Cheyenne warriors charged, their battle cries resonating. The conflict commenced with great intensity. DeRudio's men returned fire, managing to hold their position for approximately half an hour, during which they glimpsed lodges in a clearing across the creek. Reno commands a crossing, yet the tents remain unoccupied. Abruptly, 200 warriors launch an assault, shouting and firing their weapons. Reno's contingent of 100 men finds themselves outnumbered and engulfed in gunfire. Amidst the turmoil, DeRudio, positioned at the rear, spots a guidon, a cavalry flag, fall behind. He attempts to retrieve it, but it becomes ensnared in branches. As he frees the flag, a bullet strikes his horse. The startled animal bolts into the enemy ranks, leaving DeRudio stranded on foot. Merely 50 yards away, 300 Sioux warriors unleash a volley of gunfire. Bullets whiz by, yet DeRudio manages to dive into a thicket, his heart pounding. There he encounters Fred Gerard, an interpreter, and Private Thomas O'Neill from Company G, both mounted. DeRudio implores them to release the horses to evade detection, but they hesitate. He quietly slips away, crawling into a dry creek bed to conceal himself until nightfall. Moments later, the sound of gunfire resonates, accompanied by the voices of women. Cautiously peering out, DeRudio's blood runs cold as he witnesses 2 Lakota women scalping a soldier who may still be alive, while others engage in a war dance around them. He remains hidden, scarcely daring to breathe. A sudden crackling noise disrupts his thoughts. Warriors have ignited the grass to flush out any survivors. The flames spread rapidly, compelling DeRudio to move. As he approaches the creek's edge, a voice calls out, "Lieutenant!" It is Gerard, O'Neill, and Scout William Jackson, who are concealed nearby. The fire encroaches, but a light drizzle and diminishing winds slow its advance, providing a glimmer of hope. For 6 agonizing hours, they huddle in silence, listening to the footsteps and voices of the warriors. As darkness descends, it grants them cover. At 9 p.m., they set out towards a ford located 2 miles to the south, traversing open terrain. Gerard and Jackson ride, while DeRudio and O'Neill grasp the horses' tails, stumbling through the darkness. They hear the voices of warriors returning to the village, alarmingly close. Upon reaching the ford, they realize they have chosen the wrong path. As they attempt to wade back, 8 warriors emerge, Gerard and Jackson flee, leaving DeRudio and O'Neill to take cover in the bushes. DeRudio prepares his revolver, ready to confront the threat, but the warriors, believing everyone has escaped, continue on their way. The two men regroup, understanding that another river crossing poses too great a risk. At dawn, DeRudio hears the sound of horses splashing and spots men in blue coats, one of whom, dressed in a buckskin jacket and white hat, resembles Captain Tom Custer. "Tom, do not leave us behind," DeRudio calls out. A war cry responds, followed by a barrage of gunfire. These are not soldiers. They are warriors clad in stolen uniforms, riding horses that have been captured. DeRudio and O'Neill retreat back into the bushes as bullets tear through the underbrush. They crawl across an open area, noticing 5 warriors approaching. Taking cover behind 2 cottonwood stumps, DeRudio fires, hitting one, while O'Neill's carbine takes down another, causing the remaining warriors to scatter. Gunfire from the nearby bluffs continues, but the warriors eventually retreat. DeRudio and O'Neill find refuge in a mulberry grove, surrounded by dying embers. At 4 p.m., a warrior fires 4 shots as a signal. Over 200 native fighters cross the river, leaving the area eerily quiet. By 6 p.m., the battlefield appears abandoned. Exhausted from 36 hours without food or water, DeRudio and O'Neill cross the river at 8 p.m., climbing the bluffs toward a distant fire. After traveling 2 miles, they hear a mule bray, followed by a sentry's voice demanding they halt. "Who goes there?" "It is Lieutenant DeRudio and Private O'Neill," DeRudio shouts. Joyful cheers erupt in response. Lieutenant Charles Varnum, weary yet relieved, greets them. It is now 2 a.m. on June 27th, and DeRudio receives the heartbreaking news. Custer's 5 companies, comprising over 200 men, have vanished, presumably deceased. Lieutenants McIntosh and Hodgson are also unaccounted for. Despite his fatigue, DeRudio is unable to find rest as he relives the traumatic events. At 8 a.m., General Gibbon's cavalry and infantry arrive, their blue uniforms evoking tears from the survivors. DeRudio's survival is nothing short of miraculous, yet the Battle of the Little Bighorn poses difficult questions. Why did Custer divide his forces? Some contend it was a clever strategy to outmaneuver the enemy, while others deem it reckless, disregarding the strength of the village. Why did Reno or Benteen not assist Custer? They were aware of the fighting but chose to refrain, later justifying their decision as too perilous. Some speculate they abandoned Custer out of frustration with his arrogance. Furthermore, Custer's body was notably untouched, unlike others, remaining neither scalped nor mutilated. According to Cheyenne narratives, 2 women related to Monacita, a Cheyenne woman Custer is said to have married, spared him, considering him family. Following the battle, DeRudio's life became more tranquil. He participated in the Nez Perce War, retired as a major in 1896, and died in 1910 in Pasadena, California. His accounts of Little Bighorn, once dismissed as exaggerations, aligned with testimonies from Gerard, O'Neill, and Jackson, earning him respect. Private O'Neill, his loyal companion, remained steadfast through every danger, a hero whom DeRudio consistently honored. The narrative takes an unexpected turn in 2005, when Northern Cheyenne elders revealed a remarkable assertion. Buffalo Calf Road woman, a warrior who fought at the Battle of the Rosebud, was credited with the blow that unseated Custer from his horse. She was remarkable, having previously braved gunfire to rescue her brother, earning the title, "The Girl Who Saved Her Brother." At the Battle of Little Bighorn, she displayed remarkable courage, wielding a club or discharging a pistol while mounted. Some claim she was responsible for Custer's demise, thereby tarnishing his legacy. Conversely, others, including Chief Gall, contend that Custer fell on the ridge, well away from the river. The reality remains obscured in the aftermath of the battle. What truly transpired during Custer's final stand? Was he a valiant leader in pursuit of glory, a foolhardy individual undone by his own arrogance, or a soldier deserted by his comrades, confronting a formidable opponent like Buffalo Calf Road Woman? Additionally, what of DeRudio? Does his history as a bomb-throwing insurgent and a man of questionable reputation undermine his credibility? Or does his survival attest to his valor? The mysteries of Little Bighorn are enshrined within the hills of Montana. We invite you to share your insights below. What are your thoughts on the events of that day? Was Custer destined for victory, or was his fate predetermined? Let us explore history together on White History and Native Roots.